YouTube and Jim from Facebook. Hey, I'm trying to do a video in answer to the question: how do you build a navy when there's such in UK when there's such hostility? You're facing such hostility. This is my third attempt at this video. I'm trying to keep it short and sweet. So the big answer is not a big answer. It's actually, I first want to draw back to a strategic perspective, and that's don't lose the game. And how do you not lose the game? You don't lose your capitals. So capitals, owning or having ships in the sea in 110 English Channel doesn't make a difference if London has actually fallen. So don't lose your capital. Now, some YouTubers are saying that that's inevitable. I've never had sea lion enacted against me and been successful. Never had it tried, actually. So I'm a hobbyist and just haven't played enough, I guess. But don't lose your capital. And I do a lot. I assume in every game sea lion's coming, and not only do I assume it, and this can harm you. I'm not lying, but I assume I need to take care of London first, and I'm going to take care of it in such a way that I don't have to worry about it again. And that means that things like Toronto might be off the table. Now, I'm reading the cards. So like poker, I play poker. You read your player, not just the cards. But don't lose your capital. And next, in turn, that's turns 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Turns 3 and 4, don't lose Moscow. You've got to be thinking as the English player, how do I get help to Moscow? And the only help I see in turns 3 and 4 is airplanes. And that they fly out of Scotland. They can easily land on the north coast of Russia, Archangel, Novgorod, and Karelia, or the funny one over there in the corner. So, don't lose London. Turn 3 and 4, do stuff to save Moscow. Now, quickly, to get to the main point of the video, you could double dump or even triple dump, which is save your money up in such a way and then dump them all at once. Now, you might not, in your first dump more than one transport. Now, I would say and encourage you, if you can, to dump one transport or somehow save one of those transports in the area in the Atlantic. The reason I say that is because one transport in England freaks the German player out. No transports, lots of ships, doesn't freak him out. You need to play the German player like a puppet. You need to encourage him to go to Moscow. You really need to pave the way for him to go to Moscow, turns 1 and 2. Come, invade me. Kind of make it easy for him. Because you want him and you prefer him to go to Moscow, turns 1 and 2. After that, you want him afraid. As he empties out the west, you want him afraid that you can hit Denmark and double threat with American boats, pass right through the Danish Strait and Denmark-Danish Strait, and invade Germany. You got your eyes on the prize. The prize is the winning the game is taking Germany. You want them to fear Normandy. You want them to fear a United States factory in Norway, and southern France, or southern Italy. So 91 is a great spot to put fear into them and to draw their forces west. And they say, well, but I don't want forces west because then I'll have to fight. Well, you're trying to relieve pressure, and this is historically accurate. Wonderful version of the game. This plays out. History plays out in the game. Joseph needs some help. Stalin needs pressure relieved. Start the Western Front as soon as possible. So, double dump, turn 4, I would say. Maybe turn 5 even. If you can get those planes over to Moscow, turn 5's fine. Because those planes and American planes with them, hopefully, will get to Moscow in time and maybe even some planes coming across Russia from the Pacific, although they take a long time to get there. Those planes could also be helpful in maybe getting 10 planes to Moscow to defend 10 foreign fighters, not counting the ones the Russians begin with. That's a potent force. So you double dump turn 4 or 5. In that time, America has left the eastern United States and has either gone to Iceland or to 91. Now, Iceland is not a bad deal, by the way. If you can eke out $15 from the UK and build a naval port there, and that enables you to reach Western Germany, Holland, Normandy, Norway. So those can all be reached, and of course retake London if it's fallen. So Iceland becomes this great port if you can eke out $15 to put there. And of course, if you're getting American support, that's great. And again, try to eke out amongst the Americans at least one transport, because again, that converts the war from a Germany is on the offensive and not afraid of emptying out the West to now I got to be afraid. After that, you've got to develop some sort of shuck, and there's no perfect system there. General Hand Grenade has a shuck system off of 91, and he said it took if you do 3, 3, and 3, it's 9 transports. I don't know about that, so I haven't developed the perfect shuck, but I do. I try to be audacious. I try to be unpredictable, and I try to change it up a lot. And I will throw transports that are going to sink into places because transports are awesome, and they can get the enemy and just, like I said, freak them out, take territories, scatter its forces, make them go in lots of different places. So turn 5, I would say you've got the possibility of, or turn 5, I think you've got the possibility of a united American and a British fleet, possibly in 109, possibly in 110. 109 might be an option because there's just a few more spaces in Germany around the area where the planes can't hit. If you have the possibility of, taking out Holland and Normandy as landing areas. So that's a big if. But if you were able to do that, then you're reducing the number of fighters in the battle. In my current game right now, I've got a situation where it's turn 5. He's got a lot of forces committed by the distance to Moscow, and he is now seeing my navy build up, and he's choosing to build his navy up again. Now you say to yourself, well, that's tough. He says, no, that's good. That's good. Because if those forces, the German forces, do not win the battle for Moscow, his Moscow campaign is over. Because he doesn't have the quote unquote third wave. I think my general thought about Russia is they can take one wave, they can take 2 waves. I don't think they can take the third wave. Could be wrong on that, but that's my general thinking. So it's a dump. The other possibilities, a couple other possibilities I'm going to mention in the next 55 seconds. Another possibility is lots of a buildup in Quebec or C-Zone 106. So a bunch of that would be military vessels, not transports. That would be destroyers, aircraft carriers, and battleships, and make them come after you. Make the subs. That's only subs. So you could do some powerful builds right there. 3, your income is only 29 or 27. You can fill them up, fill that C-Zone up for a couple turns. After first turns 1 and 2, making sure London is safe. Then turns 3 and 4 and 5, beginning to work on your navy. And like I said, turn 5, definitely you got to have transports threatening the West. Absolutely. Has to happen. So by turn 5, that's what I'm saying. By turn 5, you should be able to combine navies and make a fairly stable situation. The best situation you can have, I will tell you, that I think of is you can have a navy that is in and supporting 91, some sort of naval support there, and a navy in 110. That's the best. So that's sort of the goal I'm working for a lot of times. Sometimes you're going to have to settle for 110. Sometimes you could run away if you have surviving vessels and gather your forces in 91 or back in 102. That's another possibility, is draw all your remaining ships back to 102, and the Americans can join you in 102, and all of a sudden you've got an international force even before the war begins. Now, they won't defend, but sure looks impressive, and you can get there or you could gather somewhere. Always try to gather somewhere where you've got scramble ability. If you've got scramble ability, you've got 3 more planes in the battle. That's always going to help. Always let them attack where you can scramble, and try to avoid attacking where they can scramble. So those are some general ideas about how to build a navy in British Navy in the Atlantic. Did I miss anything? The big basic answer is save your money for a couple 3 turns, or build in Canada. Or by the way, the other option would be just to sneak it in, because sometimes they're not watching and they move their planes. Some players will move all their planes toward the Eastern Front, and you don't have to play all these games. You can just put the boats in the water, which is awesome. Obviously, if it's turn 3, the boats you want to put in the water are going to have to be mostly military. I would stay away from the transports until turn 4-ish, 5-ish. Definitely 5, but cross your fingers for 4, I guess. So, all right, that's it, Jim. That's it, YouTube. That's my video on how to build a navy in the Atlantic under some pretty heavy opposition. Have a great day, guys. Bye. Happy Labor Day.